Makoko, the floating slum of Lagos. When people think about the harshest slums in the world, many imagine crowded neighborhoods in India, endless rows of tin roofs, narrow alleys, and difficult living conditions. But few people realize that thousands of miles away in West Africa, there exists a place where life can be even more extreme. A place where entire neighborhoods float above polluted water, where children learn to paddle boats before they learn to read, and where more than 100,000 people survive every day on wooden houses standing above a dark lagoon. This place is called Makoko, often described as one of the most unusual and challenging communities on Earth. Welcome to Makoko, the floating slum hidden inside one of Africa's largest cities, where Makoko exists. Makoko sits on the edge of a vast lagoon in Lagos, one of the fastest-growing megacities in the world. From the modern skyline of Lagos, filled with highways, skyscrapers, and luxury apartments, Makoko looks almost unreal. But just beyond the city's busy streets lies an entirely different world. Instead of roads, there are narrow waterways. Instead of cars and motorcycles, there are wooden canoes. And instead of concrete buildings, thousands of fragile wooden homes stretch across the water. From above, Makoko resembles a maze, a dense network of houses built on stilts, connected by narrow wooden walkways and winding canals. It is not just a neighborhood. It is a floating city built by people who had nowhere else to go. A city built on water. Unlike most urban communities, Makoko was never designed or planned. Over decades, families gradually built homes on wooden stilts driven deep into the muddy lagoon floor. Piece by piece, plank by plank, a massive settlement slowly grew above the water. Today, thousands of houses stand on tall wooden poles. Most are built from recycled materials, old planks, rusted metal sheets, plastic panels, and anything residents can find. The structures sway gently with the movement of the water. When waves pass through the lagoon, entire rows of homes creak and shift. To outsiders, the houses appear dangerously fragile, but for the people who live here, they represent shelter, survival, and community. Life without basic infrastructure. One of the greatest challenges of Makoko is the lack of basic services. There are very few reliable sources of electricity. Clean drinking water is extremely limited, and proper sanitation systems are almost non-existent. For many families, the lagoon itself becomes everything. It is where they cook, where they wash, where they bathe. And unfortunately, it is also where much of the waste ends up. As a result, the water beneath the houses is often dark and polluted. The smell can be overwhelming for visitors, but for residents who have spent their entire lives here, it is simply part of daily life. Children of Makoko. Perhaps the most striking sight in Makoko is its children. Young boys and girls move through the waterways with incredible confidence. Some are only 5 or 6 years old, yet they can skillfully paddle small wooden boats through the narrow channels between houses. Many children help their parents with daily work. Some sell snacks or drinks from tiny canoes. Others help transport goods across the settlement. School exists in Makoko, but education is often difficult.
Okay, class, who wants a sweet?
Classrooms can be overcrowded, supplies are limited, and many families struggle to afford the time or money required for consistent schooling. Still, despite these hardships, children in Makoko are often seen laughing, playing, and exploring the waterways around their homes. Their resilience is one of the most powerful aspects of life here, the economy of the lagoon. Makoko may be poor, but it is far from inactive. Every morning, the waterways come alive with movement. Fishermen head out before sunrise to catch fish from the lagoon. Small traders paddle through the canals selling food, fruit, and household supplies. Women cook meals on small stoves balanced carefully above the water. Floating markets appear between rows of houses. A canoe loaded with fresh fish might drift next to another boat selling vegetables or cooked rice. In this unusual environment, commerce never stops. The entire community functions like a floating marketplace. Danger and uncertainty. Living in Makoko also means facing constant risks. Polluted water increases the spread of disease. Malaria, infections, and waterborne illnesses are common. But health risks are only part of the danger. Fire is another serious threat. Because homes are built so closely together using dry wood and scrap materials, a single spark can quickly turn into a devastating fire. And fighting a fire in a floating settlement is extremely difficult. Access is limited. Fire trucks cannot reach most areas. By the time help arrives, entire rows of houses may already be gone. Tension with the city. Makoko's existence has long been controversial. City authorities have occasionally attempted to remove parts of the settlement, arguing that it is unsafe and environmentally damaging. At times, demolition efforts have destroyed sections of homes along the waterfront. But for the residents of Makoko, leaving is not a simple option. Many families have lived here for generations. Their livelihoods depend on the lagoon, and moving into the formal city would be far more expensive than they could ever afford. So despite the uncertainty, Makoko continues to survive. A community that refuses to disappear. What makes Makoko remarkable is not just the poverty, it is the determination of the people who live here. Communities organize to build schools. Neighbors help repair damaged houses. Families support each other during fires, floods, and storms. Even in extremely difficult circumstances, life continues. People wake up early. Children play in the water. Boats move through the canals carrying food, goods, and stories of daily survival. Makoko is not simply a slum. It is a living, breathing community. Final reflection. Makoko forces us to confront an uncomfortable reality about our world. While some cities build skyscrapers reaching into the clouds, others struggle just to keep their homes above the water. Yet within this floating settlement, there is also something powerful. A reminder that human resilience can exist even in the most fragile environments. Among the creaking wooden houses and the dark lagoon below, more than 100,000 people continue to work, raise families, and dream of a better future. Makoko may be one of the harshest places to live, but it is also proof that communities can survive, even in the most unlikely places. And for those who call it home, Makoko is not just a slum. It is their city on the water.